Hello children, welcome back to the continuation of the learning the lesson on saying please, which was written by Alfred George Gardiner. We have gone through learning about the author and the lesson. The author Alfred George Gardiner discusses the necessity of following courtesies and politeness in social life of a man. The essay opens with an instance of a young liftman in the city office who threw a passenger out of his lift for not saying the word please. The man wanted to go to the top floor of the building and he would not say top please. This annoyed the liftman and he threw the passenger out of his lift. This act cost the liftman his job. Discourtesy is not a legal offense and it does not excuse assault and battery. No legal system could attempt to legislate against something which it does not itself recognize as a legally punishable offense. The author continues the discussion by saying that probably the man who said top to the liftman was really only getting back on his employer who had not said good morning to him because he had been henpecked at breakfast by his wife and so on. Henpecked means a man who is always told by his wife. The author has discussed the importance and effort of good manners with the help of a polite conductor who was kind, considerate, and cheerful. The conductor had an inexhaustible fund of patience and a gift for making his passenger comfortable. He irradiated such an atmosphere of good temper and kindliness that a journey with him was a lesson in natural courtesy and good manners. Good manners are infectious like bad manners. If we encounter incivility, most of us are apt to become uncivil. Similarly, a cheerful person can spread cheer around him like the polite conductor. As the author explains his own experience, which he had jumped on a bus and found that he had left home without any money in his pocket. And as the good character of a conductor made him to continue his journey. Now let's learn the continuation of the lesson. Page number 130, 7th paragraph. Let's read. Having searched my pockets in vain for stray coppers, and having found I was utterly penniless, I told the conductor with an earnest face, as I could assume that I couldn't pay the fare and must go back for money. Oh, you need not get off. That's all right, said he. All right, said I, but I haven't a copper on me. Oh, I'll book you through, he replied. Where do you want to go? And he handed his bundle of tickets with the air of a man who was prepared to give me a ticket for anywhere from the bank to Hong Kong. I said it was very kind of him and told him where I wanted to go. And as he gave me the ticket, I said, but where shall I send the fare? Oh, you'll see me someday, all right, he said cheerfully, as he turned to go, and then luckily my fingers, still wandering in the corners of my pockets, lighted on a shilling and the account was caught. But the fact did not lessen the glow of pleasure which so good-natured an action had given me. Already, as we have learned, that the author says his experience once boarded the bus in a hurry and found out that he had not carried money. He wanted to inform the same to conductor and would let him get on the bus. The conductor took it very lightly and asked him what ticket he needed. Where do you want to go? He handled his bundle of tickets with the air of a man who was prepared to give me a ticket for anywhere from the bank to Hong Kong. He said it was very kind of him and told him where I wanted to go. And as he gave me the ticket, I said, "But where shall I send the fare?" He told the author that he could pay him the fare when they met sometime. Let's read the next paragraph. A few days after, my most sensitive toe was trampled on rather heavily as I sat reading on the top of a bus. I looked up with some anger and more agony, and saw my friend of the cheerful countenance. "Sorry, sir," he said. "I know these are heavy boots. Got 'em because my own feet get trod on so much, and now I'm treading on other people's. Hope I did not hurt you, sir." He had hurt me, but he was so nice about it that I assured him he had not. After this, I began to observe him whenever I boarded his bus, and found a curious pleasure in the constant good nature of his bearing. He seemed to have an inexhaustible fund of patience and a gift for making his passengers comfortable. I noticed that if it was raining, he would run up the stairs to give someone the tip that there was room inside. With old people, he was as considerate as a son, and with the children, as solicitous as a father. He had evidently a peculiarly warm place in his heart for young people, and always indulged in some merry jest with them. If he had a blind man on board, it was not enough to set him down safely on the pavement. He would call to Bill in front of to wait while he took him across the road on round the corner, or otherwise safely on his way. In short, I found that he irradiated such an atmosphere of good temper and kindliness that a journey with him was a lesson in natural courtesy and good manners. In this paragraph, we learn that once the author trampled the most sensitive toe of the author on rather heavily as he sat reading on the top of a bus. When he looked up in anger and agony, the conductor asked pardon in such words and manner that the author assured him that it did not hurt him much. If it was raining, the conductor would run up the stairs to give someone the tip that there was room inside. With old people, he was as considerate as a son, and with the children, as solicitous as a father. He had evidently a peculiarly warm place in his heart for young people, and always indulged in some merry jest with him. If he had a blind man on board, it wasn't enough to set him down safely on the pavement. He would call to Bill in front to wait while he took him across the road or round the corner, or otherwise safely on his way. He was helping the people in their needs. As being a good conductor, he shows he practices his good manners to the people, and he was well impressed in the hearts of the people in that locality. Let's read the next paragraph. What struck me particularly was the ease with which he got through his work. If bad manners are infectious, so also are good manners. If we encounter incivility, most of us are apt to become uncivil. But it is unusually an uncouth person who can be disagreeable with the sunny people. It is with manners as with the weather. Nothing clears up my spirit like a fine day, said Keats, and a cheerful person descends on even the gloomiest of us with something of the benediction of a fine day. And so it always fine weather on the polite conductor's bus, and his own civility, his conciliatory address and good-humored bearing infected his passengers. In lightening their spirits, he lightened his own task. His gaiety was not a wasteful luxury, but a sound investment. Here we see the good manners are infectious like bad manners. If we encounter incivility, most of us are apt to become uncivil. Similarly, a cheerful person can spread cheer around him like the polite conductor. His own civility, his conciliatory address, and good-humored bearing infected his passengers. In lightening their spirit, he lightened his own task. Where the good-mannered people are there will be everything happiest. Where there is bad manners people, there will be it is like a hell. A cheerful person makes the people surrounded him always cheerful. By his cheers, they make others cheerful. The same way, bad habits, bad manners may infectious in the society in around us. Same way, good manners also are infectious. A cheerful person can make others happy, and a moody person make others irritable. So let us practice good manners in our life, like a polite conductor who was attracting the people towards him by his good manners, by his good deeds. Let us read the next paragraph. It is a matter of general agreement that the war has had a chilling effect upon those little everyday civilities of behavior that sweeten the general air. We must get those civilities back if we are to make life kindly and tolerable for each other. We cannot get them back by invoking the law. The policeman is necessary, simple, and the law is a necessary institution for a society that is still somewhat lower than the angels. But the law can only protect us against material attack. Nor will the liftman's way of meeting the moral affront by physical violence help us to restore the civilities. I suggest to him that he would have heard a more subtle and effective revenge if he had treated the gentleman who would not say please with elaborate politeness. He would have had the victory not only over the poor but over himself, and that is the victory that counts. The polite man may lose the material advantage, but he always has the spiritual victory. I commend to the liftman a story of Chesterfield. In his time, the London streets were without the pavements of today, and the man who took the wall had the driest footing. I never give the wall to a scoundrel, said a man who met Chesterfield one day in the street. I always do, said Chesterfield. Stepping with a bow into the road, I hope the liftman will agree that his revenge was much more sweet than if he had flung the fellow into the mud. Here we see that everyday civilities of behavior that sweeten the general air. We must get those civilities back if we are to make life kindly and tolerable for each other. We cannot get them back by invoking the law. The policeman is there for a necessary symbol, and the law is there for necessary institution for a society that is still somewhat lower than the angels. So, the author mentions here that the law can only protect us against material attack, but one who is spiritually strong, they can spread the same atmosphere around us and keep everyone in good spirits. So, it is very easy to be civil at all times. It takes only patience, politeness to be civil. With a positive attitude and accommodative approach, we can handle any situation with civility. Our cheerful nature, good manners, and politeness are to be practiced in day-to-day lives of us. So let us practice good manners in our lives and try to avoid bad manners using bad words. Instead, we can use encouraging words, positive attitude, and accommodative approach towards the other. And our cheerful nature, good manners, and the politeness make the people around us more happier and comfortable. By this, we end the lesson here. Students, read the lesson repeatedly. It will help you to understand better. And try to learn the new words and its meanings. Thank you. Have a joyful day.